All right, guys, we are live. Got it all set out. Text alerts to subscribers, tweet sent, and I think we got a lot to talk about tonight. Big day in LSU sports. Name, image, and likeness went into effect at midnight this morning, and I don't think anybody has a real grasp on what the implications of this thing's going to be. What are the unintended consequences that we might see in the next year or two? Everybody seems to think it was a positive, but certainly one thing you can't deny is that LSU came out guns a-blazing, and they had a plan in place, and I don't think any college in the country handled it better than LSU. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Of course, the show each and every week is brought to you by Pride Roofing. Stopped by there yesterday and saw Tammy and of course, talked to Mike Faraday and all the group out there at Pride Roofing. Of course, they're still running that great, fantastic promo where you call them for a free roof inspection. Say you heard about them on TigerBait.com, and they're going to give you free TigerBait for a year. You cannot beat that. Give them a call, 225-275-2041. I'll talk about them a little bit further in the show. I'm going to wait for some of you guys to get in here and a lot of your questions. As you can see, I'm going solo tonight. Sanji's taking an extended 4th of July vacation, and we should have him back next week or maybe the week after. But a lot of LSU coaches are enjoying time off. They've got just about the entire month of July off. They'll come back last week of July and host some recruits on campus. And then a dead period will start back up at the end of the month. And then August, of course, football camp will start. And then I think we're going to see a bunch of commitments in the month of August and throughout the fall. So we're going to touch on that tonight. Got all your questions. I was at Jay Johnson's press conference on Monday. So we'll have that to talk about. Big thanks to all of you last week. Multiple of you had sent super chats. Very much appreciative. That was the first time we had had that feature enabled on our YouTube channel. But please do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Please share it on Facebook to the LSU groups, Real LSU Nation, etc. Do us that favor. Please share that the show's live right now. Hit the like button. Share. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscription bell. Hit the subscription button. Hit the notification bell. And our YouTube channel has been growing like gangbusters. Of course, our Facebook page has already been big, but I think a lot of people are preferring to use the YouTube for clarity. So big time. There we go. Look at that. Our buddy Blake Ruffino, who just finished his show, sent us a super chat, 99 cents. Big, much appreciated, Blake. Blake was in rare form earlier tonight. I was listening to him a little bit while I was preparing for the show, and I think he's like me and thinking that the name, image, and likeness is more of a positive than a negative, but we're going to see how this plays out. So big thanks to Blake for the super chat, the 99 cents. All right, guys, let's get started here. Let me, Brian Annie Penton, let's go, Mike. Boy, the LSU media is going out on NLSU. Look, I think that video they put out this morning, I made a content item out of it. They did that. It was superb. I don't think anybody in the country could touch that hype video or whatever you want to call it. Name, image, and likeness LSU buying the billboard in New York City, in Times Square. I mean, look, there's no denying the fact that LSU is one of your elite programs in all of college sports. High profile, SEC, multiple national championships in football. You know, the program across the board speaks for itself despite the ups and downs. But even bigger than that, and which was in that video that it was so well done, was the notable athletes that have gone on from LSU to be prominent in the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the personalities that former LSU players have, where Shaquille O'Neal, or you have Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark all over ESPN and SEC Network, you know, Booger McFarland. It just goes on and on. You know, the LSU footprint is out there and growing. Honey Badger was focused on. And, you know, and that's always been one of the things I've enjoyed about the Tyrann Mathieu deal, was despite the fact that he was basically booted out of the program for substance abuse, he's still a notable and welcomed LSU football player, and he holds no ill will, and he's very much as big a part of LSU lore and history as anything, and is included in that video. And so, so well done, and nobody does it better than LSU. I know we were bemoaning the fact a year or two ago when LSU lost a couple of its video guys from football to USC, and they just keep plugging them in. And they do a damn good job of hiring these guys, coming up with the concepts of what they want to do in marketing, the athletic department. So that is going to be a big recruiting tool, absolutely, going forward. So, but what are we going to see? What is it going to look like business-wise? Obviously, as soon as we woke up this morning, Derek Stingley's tweeting out about his deal with walk-ons, over six figures, supposedly. So, we know the Stingleys of the world, the Joe Burrows of the world, Max Johnson, Miles Brennan, all these guys. I think all your quarterbacks, Garrett Nussmeier can get a deal right now. Walker Howard at midterm will be able to get a deal. What about your running backs? Is it just little small towns? Is it going to be Trey Palmer get something in Kentwood? How big does this get? Is it only big for a certain slice of athletes? We're all looking at the Olivia, the gymnast, and all of her Twitter followers and TikTok and Instagram, and I mean, she's absolutely huge. There might not be a bigger athlete in the country than her and her following on social media. And even though she's not one of your better gymnasts, look at the reach she has, and look how appealing she's going to be to marketing and companies out there. I heard somebody throw $1 million figure out there earlier today that she's going to be worth. So it's going to be a big, big deal. Do you think we land okay. Let's see. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Chris. Is there a typo there? Jason Murray, advertising what pays you, so I agree with it, no doubt. I'm just wondering what are the ramifications for this? What do these players do? How do they handle the media? In the field that I'm in, I mean, we've got some unscrupulous people out there that do what I do. How does that get set up? Is there anything that we start to see down the line? There's a new recruiting network that's starting up in the fall, and they're basically pilfering another network that's going to be a ghost town in 6 months. Is some of the fallout of that? Did the newcomers on the block get involved in some of this stuff? What is this looking like a year from now? I wonder if at some point schools are going to have to go back in and make some changes, or is it just going to be a free-for-all? It's going to be interesting to see. Richard Menard, heard of you from AYS Sports. Definitely. Blake Ruffino, check out his channel. Does a fantastic job. Blake's show, Are You Serious Sports, on YouTube and Facebook is growing by leaps and bounds. Go subscribe to him. And much thanks to Blake for talking up the show. And we've got a great relationship with Blake, and he's one of the good guys in the business. Yeah, Michael Southern, Buddy trying to play golf. I don't know how much he plays golf anymore. I don't think he gets out as much as he likes to. Gregory Price, Greg says hello from Houston. Hello to you as well. Glad to have you with us. Got a big group tonight, it looks like. Christopher McKenzie, do you think we land Austin Osbury? I do. I think him and Jaden, of course, Verge Osbury's sons, both fantastic football players. I know a lot of people want to focus on Jaden, class of 23 linebacker, but I tell you, every time I see Austin, he gets better and better. I think his rating's going to go through the roof. I can't wait to see what he looks like this upcoming football season. Both of them can run. Both of them are fantastic football players. Whirlwind month of June for both of them. I know Verge was taking them all over, Notre Dame, Clemson, Alabama. I mean, you name it, they were there. Texas A&M and others. So I kind of feel like just from the some of the phone calls I had, it seemed like Notre Dame was maybe the one that stood out the most and impressed them the most, believe it or not. So But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any funny business. I don't see any Osberries going anywhere but LSU, but they're going to take visits. So we'll see how that plays out. Brian Annie Penton, let me hold on. They just scrolled on me. All right. I don't know what just happened. Brian Annie Penton, do you think Walker Howard is better than Arch? I do. I do right now. I absolutely do. But that doesn't mean 6 months from now I say something different, or a year from now. Walker is a year older, and Arch continues to get taller, bigger, stronger. He's got that Manning frame, and what is he going to look like his second year in college? What is his height and weight going to be? The first time I saw him, he was 140 pounds, and now look at him. So, but one thing I will say is that I don't know that he'll ever have the velocity that Walker Howard has on his throws, and made some calls out west. Got a couple of people with eyeballs on Walker. Performed very well last night in one of their competitions at the Elite 11. They're probably wrapping up about right now. I know they were getting started at 6:30, about 6:30 our time, out on the West Coast. Day 2 of the opening. I'm looking at all their events all day long. I'm seeing yoga. I'm seeing them sitting on the beach, Indian style, meditating. I'm like, okay, all right, look, guys, what are we going to see next? Gregorian chants and sipping on green tea. Let's get to some football out there in California. But I think Walker's affording himself very well. He's prepared, and so we're going to see how this plays out here in the coming days. I think he's going to place very high. In the grand scheme of things, I would love to see Walker win that thing outright, but I think he's going to perform very well. But in the grand scheme of things, a year from now, how these kids do at Elite 11 doesn't mean a hill of beans. Go out there, perform, compete, create some good friendships, enjoy yourself, all expense paid trip, and learn from it. Get all that free gear, and then come home, and then Walker Howard's going to have a bright future at LSU. So let's see. Chance Babin. Holstein wants no part of competing with Walker Howard in high school or college, right? Look, I don't want to say that Holstein is running to A&M because Walker's at LSU. I just think, it's one of those deals where you looked at A&M's quarterback room and felt like that was a better place. I do know that once Walker Howard committed to LSU about mid-month a year ago, so about 53, 54 weeks ago. From then on, it sure seems like the Holsteins were not interested in LSU at all. And I've been saying for months that I thought A&M was the leader, and sure enough, that's where he ended up committing. And I know Jimbo Fisher really loves Eli, and I tell you what, there's no denying what you see on film from Eli. MVP at the Elite 11 in Indianapolis. You're talking about a 6'3", 220-pound kid that can throw it, make all the throws, good athlete. So, but we're going to see. I don't think LSU's out of it for Arch Manning either. They're a long shot, of course. But Ricky Collins, of course, has the offer from Woodlawn. And then we'll see if next year's a 2-quarterback class or not, the class of 23. Let's see, guys. Scrolling up. Greg Price. Mike, can you explain the TAF versus the board, I'm assuming Board of Supervisors, oversight of dollars for Coach Johnny? Yeah, you're talking about Jay Johnson, right? All I know is that, 1.2, and then he's got a bunch. It's a ladder contract, and he's going to make more money each and every year. So I don't think there's any issues with the Board of Supervisors, and the TF is a little bit of their own entity. Certainly, you can't have a whole entire board against you and get what you want, but they're kept in the loop, particularly towards the end as to what they're doing. And so now we wait to see who Jay Johnson hires. I tell you, I think his press conference on Monday was very impressive. I was there, and And I think he touched on everything. The guy's just, you can tell he's a Rolex. His brain runs like a Rolex watch. And I can't wait to see how his staff finishes out. I can't wait to see what his recruiting class looks like, what transfers he has in. So yeah, let's see. Jamie Hodges, good evening, Mike. Good evening to you. Blaine Smith, good evening, Mike. Any recruiting news? I tell you what, I really think that LSU is in a good spot with all those recruits that were in for visits last week, and I really think that maybe LSU has turned the corner with Citizen, Lake Charles Prep running back. You know, there's been a lot of folks in Southwest Louisiana that think that you know, he might be heading out of state, and I think LSU did a fantastic job with him. And so now we look to see it across the board. What are going to be some of the offensive linemen that make a part of this class? You got your quarterback. I think at your running back spot, you know, we don't know what HN's going to do. I think the skinny right now is that he might end up at Clemson. I think the kid might want to be at LSU, but what does the mom want? What does the mom still think? Is there still some issues there that they're holding a grudge over what happened with Travis years ago? Of course, nobody is left from that staff, but you know, we're going to see how it plays out. I think LSU looks good for Citizen. Kendrick Law, of course, can do a lot of things at Captain Shreve, so that's some stuff right there for you. I do think that, look, this month of June was a banner month for recruiting for LSU. So I think the Rim kid, the wide receiver, of course, Jarian Rim came in, already committed, defensive back from LSU, the Winfield wide receiver, Armani. Texas commit. Everything I get is that LSU is in a good spot with him if they want to push. But we're going to see how that plays out in the coming weeks. I think all eyes for LSU, though, at the wide receiver spot is Shaz Preston. And I'm kind of wondering how that's going to play out for Shaz. Shaz says all the right things. Great interview, great kid. But I know guys like Walker Howard and Will Campbell and so forth, they really want Shaz to be a part of this recruiting class. So what is it going to take to get him in the fold? I don't know. But LSU's going to keep recruiting, and I think LSU's in a good spot with him, and that's who they want to finish with. And so we're going to see how it plays out. And I think, you know, beyond him, the other, you know, wide receiver to watch out for is Evan Stewart, who's on campus this past weekend as well. And I know him and Walker Howard have hit it off. He really likes LSU. So is it Evan Stewart and Shaz? Do you take both of them? Is it one or the other? But I think those are the two receivers to really pay attention for with LSU. Let's see, guys. By the way, I want to talk about our sponsor, Pride Roofing. Of course, I went to Albany yesterday, and guys, give them a call if you've got any issues with your roof, commercial or residential, anywhere from Sulphur, Louisiana to Gulf Shores, Alabama. Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez have you covered. The official roofing company of TigerBait.com. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. 5-year plus warranty on their labor on your roof. No builder quality materials. The machinery that they've got in there, they've got probably $1 million worth of machinery where they're making a lot of the own, like the flashing, and they've got a stamping truck that they bring out in a trailer that does some fantastic metal work for people doing metal roofs. It's amazing the work that they're doing at Pride Roofing. Of course, Mike Faraday is an LSU grad, born and raised here in Baton Rouge. Give them a call, 275-2041, 225 area code. Tell them you heard about it on TigerBait.com, and they're going to pay for you to have free TigerBait for a year with your free roof inspection. You cannot lose. A lot of people jumping on that. Give them a call. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait.com. And absolutely fantastic people. I can't say enough about them, and we wouldn't be here each and every week if it wasn't for them. So we thank their sponsorship. And so, yeah, give Pride Roofing a call. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button and share on Facebook. Subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube. Let's see. Andy Whitaker. Whether you like the NIL or not, you have to love the way LSU started out with it. I haven't seen any other school trying to market their NIL program today. You know, that is something that I would love to know. Obviously, there was a lot of months, a lot of meetings, a lot of preparation for what they rolled out today, and they did a fantastic job. And so whether there's people on campus at LSU that not sure they like where this is heading, or either way, it was there whether they liked it or not, and they tackled it head on. And that video package this morning was fantastic. And I'm sure they've got a whole program in the works to educate the players, the do's and don'ts. And so it's here. And kudos to LSU and everybody in the athletic department, football program, for that rollout this morning. Nobody came close to LSU, and I was on social media all day today looking. So Blaine Smith, LSU brings success during and post-career its excellence, period, no doubt. Let's see, let me scroll down, guys. I feel like I'm Scott Trahan. College ball is going through the biggest change it has ever seen. I see the rich getting richer and the lesser falling further behind. Absolutely, no doubt. That is going to be one of the things here. And my buddy Ross Akpan, he's in the chat. Recruiting has changed forever, no doubt. And LSU is in a great position with this, and the rich will get richer with this. I don't doubt it at all. Now the question becomes, you know, does it benefit USC being in Los Angeles? And I just think being an SEC athlete, period, is going to benefit you. And then if you're a market like Baton Rouge or Tuscaloosa, Athens, et cetera, you really got a leg up. So we're going to see how this plays out. I think there's going to be some stuff that we don't like, and there's some stuff that we're okay with. I'm just hoping there's a lot less stuff that makes us uneasy about this than the stuff that is beneficial. Bayou Bingo, Mike Olivia has the largest social media following in college athletics. I saw the numbers, it's insane. Blaine Smith, not worried on Walker Howard, he'll be great. Kenny Russell, Walker Howard should be the starter by his second year, we'll see. You know, maybe, is it his third year? I mean, we're going to see what happens with Max Johnson. And look, do not, as much as you guys know I'm high on Walker, do not discount Garrett Nussmeier. Don't make that mistake. He's not just filler there in between. That kid can play. He's getting bigger and stronger as well. He's got an arm. He's a competitor, smart kid. Do not discount Garrett Nussmeier. He's going to have a say-so as well. Let's see. Harold Woods. Hey, Mike, who do you see starting at safety next to Jay Ward? I think it's going to be Major Burns. I think your starting safeties are Major Burns and Jay Ward. And then you'll have, you know, Tolles and Sage Ryan, Langlois, Todd Harris. So, Eddie Santos, Mike, LSU the next commit. You know, I don't know that it's going to go all the way to August and it's going to be somebody like Emory Jones. Could there be somebody beforehand? You know, we thought earlier this week, you know, linebacker Perkins might have went down and got everybody from LSU and A&M scrambling on Monday, and then he pulled back. I think LSU's in great shape there, by the way. I'm not sure. I don't know what we're going to see in the month of July. I think there's going to be a few that could happen. I know a lot of people are disappointed that there wasn't more in June. I thought there would be some in June that didn't happen. But then as the month wore on, I think I got that one wrong. Kids are taking visits. They're finally being able to get out and see places. And so I think it's going to really start happening in August. And then we're going to have a wave in November. And we'll have some throughout the season. But I think August is going to have a nice big bump. And guys wanting to get it over with. They don't want to go into their senior football seasons dealing with phone calls and all that. They're going to want to get it over with. And I think that's largely going to be the guys who have that mentality, but they also had a very busy June with visits, whether unofficially or officially. You know, we got Fitzgerald West coming up as well at LCA, July 10th. I tell you what, Tolan, LSU's looking really good for DeMario Tolan. We had a story with him less than a week ago. You can still check that out on the front page. Scott Trollen, some close to the program think Garrett Nussmeier could be surprised of all the quarterbacks live arm. Yeah, definitely, Scott. Do not discount Garrett Nussmeier at all. Let's see, guys. Does Mikey Romero ever step on campus? Well, we're going to find out. Obviously, he's a Jay Johnson guy, so we're going to see what happens there. A lot of these high-profile baseball players make the move, and then we're going to find out what they end up doing in August. But I really want to see what's going to happen with his coaching staff. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw that photo that I posted that I captured Monday night of Skip and Paul Maneri walking off the field after presenting Coach Johnson with his bat and his number 2 jersey. And that black and white photo I tweeted out and put it on Facebook and on TigerBait's message board. I've been inundated with people saying, how can I get a copy of it? And I'm talking to somebody tomorrow about getting some printed up. And as soon as those of you are interested in buying that print, if you saw it and you liked it, I think I'm going to have that available real soon for y'all to get a copy of it. So as soon as that becomes available, I'll let y'all know and I'll post it, Twitter, Facebook, and on TigerBait.com. Let's see. Kevin Pavone, why does Coach O like to experiment so much converting DTs, Fitzgerald West to play center instead of recruiting actual centers? Very hard to find actual centers out there that are true centers. And they don't exist in big numbers. And a lot of guys that are playing center at the high school level are 5'9", 5'10". I see it everywhere I go. And I thought Fitzgerald West, although undersized, I thought he moved well enough, and I've been saying it for almost 2 years that I felt for him to be a guy at the next level, he needed to be an offensive lineman, guard or center. I think he's still a little short for guard. I think he can be a center, and sure enough, he got the offer. So I know he wants to say he's an athlete, but he's a center, and he needs to start hiking the ball every afternoon. No offense to Fitzgerald West, but putting back to back with the LSU's current defensive lineman, and he's an offensive lineman. I think he can be a damn good one. And so kudos to him. Kudos to him for being open-minded. I mean, look what it's done for him. Look at the offers he's gotten. Alabama, that's big time. Michael Hall, which schools are looking at the Denham Springs quarterback, Reese Mooney? I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I talked to Reese. I saw him earlier in the spring at Rohan Davies' 7-on-7 practice. He is definitely a kid that I'm going to be watching this upcoming football season. Of course, at one time, he was committed to the University of Houston in baseball. But he is another one of those class of 2023 quarterbacks in the state of Louisiana to pay attention to. And I think he's going to have some options. He's a very good athlete, and I think he's going to do some big things at Denham. So I will be seeing him. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be seeing him real early in August. So let's see. Jamie Hodges, big question. How do you think it shakes out with Quincy Wiggins? I don't see Quincy Wiggins going anywhere. I know Coach Akpan, if you're still in the chat, he might differ with me and say there's a top 2, but I think Quincy's relationship with the new defensive line coach Andre Carter is very strong, and as well as his relationship with some of the current commits, Emory Jones, who's not committed. I know those two are close. He's been at LSU I don't know how many times this summer, and you want to talk about a name, image, and likeness kid? That's going to be Quincy Wiggins. Great smile, great personality, hard worker. He's a kid that I think a lot of businesses are going to want to have do something with him in the line in a hurry. Let's see. Travis, are you hearing any names that Jay Johnson might be trying? We've been hearing, was it Kale? I've heard other names out there. Of course, you guys know I'm not as deep into college baseball as other folks. But I do have some sources that were giving me some names earlier in the week. I know at one time they was talking about the associate athletics director at McNeese, who's got a baseball background. I was hearing his name a few days ago, but I have not followed up to see where that's at. But I know Coach Johnson's taking his time, and I'm sure he's got a lot of guys. He said it the other day that his list of possible coaching candidates is impressive, and I believe him. Let's see. Lonnie Young, if anybody sees any of our guys or gals selling meat out of a back of pickup trucks, don't buy it. It's garbage. Okay. Let's see. I'm scrolling through. Yeah, that's a good point. Richard, if you're making $1 million a year from name, image, and likeness, why go to class? There's no doubt you're going to get, I mean, look, you're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds. They're going to come into this kind of money or have the potential to have 6 figures plus. You know, the Stingleys of the world, your quarterbacks, you know, your high-profile kids that have been talked about all through high school as being 4- and 5-star variety, and they've already got a brand and they're well-known recruits. By the time you could absolutely be creating some prima donnas that they're fighting to get to go to class and to keep eligible. So hopefully it's all about education and keeping these kids' heads screwed on straight. Mike, it appears some LSU football players are highly delusional with the new NIL. Some players can't even see the field, but they think they will get paid. Mike, look, there's guys out there that I know on the LSU football team that are barely third string that think they're about to get rich from this. I've seen it today. Think they're going to be sitting out in front of Rouse's or wherever signing jerseys and people giving them $100 for their signature and they're not even a starter. So they're going to have to combat that. And that is part of the worry. You know, you talk about the haves and have-nots in college football. You're going to have your haves and have-nots within your program. And what kind of animosity does that, you know, what does that bring? You know, look, you have guys on NFL teams that are $30 million guys, and you have guys who are making the NFL minimum. You know, but you're talking about guys that are older. They've got fully developed brains, and they've already, you know, gone through a college football program, and it's been separated a little bit more. Each level of ball, there's separation, but to me, it's a little bit different with an 18, 19-year-old. They're not on the mature level side. They're not fully formed yet, and so there's no doubt they're going to have to deal with that. And I don't know what kind of counseling they're going to have, but it's going to need to be there. Faye Schubert, one of our valuable subscribers at TigerBait.com. Lots of concern making money will override going to class. She brings up the same thing. If only 2% make it to the pros, that won't put foot on the table in the future. Yeah, I mean, how many kids, because they're getting that name, image, and likeness money at a school like LSU, but not necessarily going to have either a short NFL career or not much of one at all, think that they're going to be rely on that for years to come and don't finish out their degree? Absolutely. So that's going to be the unintended consequences that we talked about earlier in the show. Mike, Brian Williams, who starts the UCLA game, Max or Miles? If Max gets the nod, where does Miles land if he leaves? I don't think Miles is going to leave. I think that this is going to be determined who the starter is going to be. Personally, I think it's going to be Max Johnson, but that hasn't been settled yet. They're going to have to battle it out. Who's doing the most work this summer? Who's in the building the most? Who's doing the extra work? Who's asking receivers to come out on the field with him and throw on their own? Who's doing that the most this summer? Who's getting the extra reps in the weight room, running the extra mile, so to speak? That's going to prove it out for me. But yeah, you do not want Miles Brennan to transfer out. I'll just say that. But I don't think he's going to. Mac Washington, if you don't go to class, then you're not a student. You can't make money from the name, image, and likeness. No doubt. But is there a point where you have kids that maybe a country club it's in a semester, and you've got to talk some sense into them. And because they didn't finish the semester out very well, they're having to do intercession and this and that and double up in the summer in order to remain eligible. To me, it's you're really going to have to do a fantastic job in your recruiting of also continue to look for very good students who are self-motivators and who value the education and going to class. So I think it all ties into the type of recruits you've always aspired to get, but you're going to have. There's no doubt you could have that problem. Yeah, good one, Greg. Gregory Price. IRS will be waiting in the wings, partnership, etc. Yeah, how do you handle this? And then the folks that are going to be doing the NIL stuff, what is their relationship with the agents that they're going to be dealing with when they go to the pros? How much of this starts to get shady in a hurry? That's the ins and outs that I'm not fully grasping right now. Kip Kebbers just saw Coach O on the beach in Destin. Yeah, he's a regular in Destin. Phil Tittle, I saw a mom on Facebook today trying to raise interest at her son's high school for national image and likeness. Now that he's a player at a very small college. Yeah, I don't know what you can get. Better get some good tax lawyers, Kip Kippers. What did you guys think of Jay Johnson on Monday? Did he win the press conference? I think he did. I think he was fantastic. I thought the crowd in Alex box was a little lame. I think probably about 150 there. Definitely much smaller than Kim Mulkey. A lot of people on vacation, etc. But I think he did very well. It was good to see Ben McDonald there greeting him. I was at the gate when he got out of the vehicle, and so I got to meet him briefly on his way into Alex box for his press conference. But my favorite takeaway of the press conference was him saying that he had hit the ground running on Saturday, and he had been working the job for 3 days, so he felt like the press conference was actually a little late. Bruce Steele, super chat. Thank you, my man. Very much appreciated. All the super chats we're going to apply towards new video camera equipment this fall and some other items on TigerBait. Very much appreciated. Should Ricks play the nickel? He has great instincts. I think he could play there, but I think he's your corner. I tell you what, when you see Elias Ricks, Bruce, walking around in street clothes, I was talking to somebody about him today. When seeing him out at camp, just hanging out and walking around with a T-shirt and shorts on, it's amazing when you're always hear these buzzwords. The buzzword of length. That kid's got length. Elias Ricks is, I'm telling you, his arms are it looks like his wrists are almost to his knees. That's how long his arms are. And that is so valuable as a cornerback. That's why LSU is constantly looking for these 6'1" to 6'3" corners. They're not looking for the 5'10" guys like you used to see regularly at LSU 20 plus years ago. The guy's fantastic. Look, Ricks could play nickel, but he's your starting corner. But he's that versatile. Dame, and thank you for the super chat. Very much so. Coach Johnson knocked it out of the park at the press conference. Yeah, no doubt, Dane. I really liked the guy. And what I really liked, too, was the fact that a few days leading up to the breaking news that he was the guy, he wasn't a guy that anybody was talking about. So we didn't have 2 or 3 weeks beforehand to pick him apart on these shows and message boards and social media as to why he shouldn't be the guy or this or that. So it was basically, he's the guy, here he is, and the press conference will be Monday. And but it was as soon as he became the guy, I made a post on our Tiger Den message board, get to know Jay Johnson. I went and dug up his opening press conference in Arizona, him talking to a youth group, him mic'd up for a exhibition game against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and you couldn't help but be impressed by the guy. And I think he touched on all the notes, talking about Skip and Maneri, what he wants to do in recruiting, calling it a reboot rather than a rebuild. I just very impressed with him. and I was really thinking from a nuts and bolts point of view. Certainly there were some press conferences of other coaches in the past at LSU that maybe had some more humor, some more laughs. But as far as nuts and bolts and being impressed with a guy that's kind of approaching his job like an engineer, I don't know that anybody tops him. I think I need to go back and listen to Saban's first one at LSU. It might be eerily reminiscent of his, to be honest with you. Mike Smith, the question of the week. Cam Wire to start at left tackle? I think so. This Dari Rosenthal deal has got a thread on our message board that's lengthy, and us debating the drug policy and you know, it's I don't know what the future is at LSU with that thing and why they continue to have a policy in place that is more based on punishment than rehab. But it's certainly, we talk about all the benefits and the advantages at LSU that they have in recruiting. Well, that is not one of them. They are definitely at a disadvantage with that policy, and it hurts. There's no doubt about it. I'm not saying that that these kids that failed drug tests 3 and 4 times aren't to blame, because certainly they are. They know that they're under the gun and what the next positive test is going to do to them, and they do it anyways. But at the same time, that's not going on anywhere else in the SEC and most other places in the country. And for whatever reason, the brass at LSU that head this up feel like they're on more righteous footing than anybody else, and I absolutely disagree. Something's got to change. Kenny Russell, this NIL situation is about to get crazy. Yeah, no doubt. Kenny's one of our best guys. Always good comments each and every week. PC Jen, boy, he did a great conference. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't know that his press conferences, of course, Alex Box is already sold out. He didn't need to sell tickets. But I don't think anybody who is maybe on the fence whether to renew or saying they're not going to renew, I'm looking forward to it. I know Brian Lazar posted today some statistics about LSU not finishing in the top 25% of the SEC in the 3 major sports for the first time in so many years. But, you know, COVID year, coaching changes. I think 21-22 is going to be big for LSU. We're going to have a big bounce back in football. Of course, you can't have many more issues like Rosenthal pop up or injuries. Got big things coming with Will Wade. He's got a fantastic basketball team returning. You got Kim Mulkey. You've got a new baseball coach and a lot of excitement there. Gymnastics, track, beach volleyball, golf, they're all going to keep chugging along and doing what they're doing. Softball at a high level. So I think the 21-22 athletic year at LSU is going to be big. So I think we're going to look at the 2021 season as a COVID mulligan year and soon and easily to be forgotten. Let's see. I saw one from Charles. Will the guy who's a home run hitter who entered the transfer portal come to LSU? Yeah, that's Romero, right? Or was it the other Arizona kid? I think those kids are for a reason. I think they're about to follow Jay Johnson. Besides Arnold, who else can you see enter the portal for LSU baseball? I have not heard anybody else besides Arnold, but I think, I suspect there's probably going to be more. Michael Hall, LSU playing in the Rose Bowl Stadium. Can't wait. Going to be a great year. No doubt. I was talking to someone today that's a big LSU guy and a big booster out in Los Angeles, and asking him what kind of party and festivities he's going to have, being that he's an LSU guy in Los Angeles, and what he's got planned. He goes, I'm about to start working on it, so it's tempting me to hurry up and get my plans, and I might actually make. The problem with that trip is I've got so many recruits I need to see this coming season, guys that I didn't get to because of a shortened season last year. And that first week of high school football, that first Friday night, is got games everywhere. And there's 2 games in particular that I want to go to, and there's about 4 or 5 total. And so if I go to UCLA, I'm certainly not going to be in a high school stadium either on Thursday or Friday night of that first week, and I'm not sure I want to do that. But I'm tempted to make that road trip, and then just have to make up with it the rest somewhere else. Those couple of kids that I want to see week 1. Any good news on O-line recruiting? I think LSU is clearly the front runner for Emory Jones. I do think, look, I want to give Coach, God dang, boy, I'm losing my mind tonight. Coach Davis, I want to see those guys. I want to see what Coach Davis can do bringing in new guys. But I think some of the guys that they brought in this month, I'm not sure where LSU has made any inroads. I think, look, just going down the line, Emory Jones, of course, they're in on Armla. I think Kelvin Banks, that one's looking dicey. I don't think that one's looking good. Dewberry, everybody's wanting him. That's going to be a tough draw. So Fitzgerald West, of course, at center. But there's got to be 1 or 2 more guys that they're going to need to bring in the fold. And so I'm holding the verdict out on the offensive line class right now. But Emory Jones and certainly Fitzgerald West are the ones to watch right now. And then beyond that, out of state, we're going to have to wait to see how that plays out and who they're able to bring in. Because, look, a lot of these guys were already familiar with Coach Davis at Arkansas. They had conversations with him. But I think there's going to be some new names and some guys they're going to want to bring in on official visits very early in the fall to round out the offensive line haul. Let's see, guys. And, yeah, you said it, Coach Greg Price. Coach Davis seems to be a great get. I agree. Watched him out there once he had gotten approved towards the later end. Super guy. Got to shake his hand. And I love the way he interacts with the recruits at practice. He didn't like any of his offensive linemen jogging from one drill to the other. Boy, he was getting after them. He didn't like guys not looking at him when he was talking. Hard-nosed football coach. Charles Duncan. Make the trip to UCLA game, Mike. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And so, yeah. Mike, where does Dare end up? I tell you what, it's starting to look, Baylor's in there. I was hearing some crazy stuff about Missouri. I think Texas might be the one to watch, but there's going to be some more. Charles, they've tried to flip Cam East. I really like what I saw out of Cam East from St. Aug at camp. He's certainly one to watch. Is he a guy that could get an offer? He is definitely one that I'm continuing to watch. Super kid too, by the way. Yeah, Kip Keppers. Go to Los Angeles. Mike probably will have a hurricane here that weekend. Yeah, but then that would be my luck, not being able to get home. So yeah, I'm gonna toss it around. Kenny Russell, in your opinion, what our recruiting class is lacking? It's offensive linemen. I mean, look, that's where LSU needs to beef themselves up. I think the linebackers are going to be here. Defensive backs going to continue to flourish. Running backs are not an issue. Wide receivers are not an issue. Quarterbacks are not an issue. It really is offensive linemen. Tight end, you only need a few. You've got a great one. There's a couple others on the board. You got a couple of kids with offers for 23. So to me, the focus really is offensive linemen. And I tell you what, I want to see some maybe a 1 or 2 monster defensive linemen as well. I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit defensive line wise on this class. Yeah, you've got some young and the youth in the program now, but like last year, I went and filmed Jaheim Otis in Mississippi. That guy's a beast. Well, he's going to Alabama. The year before that, McKinley Jackson went to A&M. I'd like to see LSU get one of those big beasts like that from out of state in it for here and there. You're going to have your guys in Louisiana as well, but I would like to see LSU be in the lead for one of those type of beast kids that are out of state. So I want to see what Andre Carter can do in that regard. So, but biggest worry in my mind is still offensive line. So, and we're going to see if they can get that rectified. I think Coach Davis can get it done. I think he might be a better recruiter and more relatable to offensive linemen out there. So, all right, guys. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button and share on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you enjoy the show in each and every week, hit the notification bell when we go live. We're going to be doing a lot more live shows next month. Once football practices start and I go on the road to high schools, I'm going to do some live stuff from various high schools when I go on the road. And so you're going to want that on our Facebook page. So you want to be subscribed to both. And then we also want to have you as a subscriber to TigerBait.com. Our website has been growing. The last 2 or 3 months has been unbelievable. We thank all of you have subscribed to TigerBait.com. Go to TigerBait, subscribe, choose the annual package. It saves you 3 months versus doing the monthly. We want to have you as a part of our community. Our Tiger Den message board is rolling with new conversation. I'm on it all day and night, just like in the chat. I'm answering your questions every day, all day and night. So our Tiger Den message board is really blowing up, and I'm there every day, all day. So come subscribe to TigerBait. We want to have you. Thanks to every one of you guys for subscribing tonight. Thanks to all of you who did super chats. I'm going to put that money in the pot for some of our new equipment this fall. Very much appreciated for you guys that sent us some money in the YouTube super chat. So you guys have a good 4th of July. Thanks to Pride Roofing as always. And we'll be back next week. I think Buddy Sanj will be with me. And be safe on the 4th, everybody. And find yourself use Uber. Or find yourself a designated driver if you're going to party this weekend. All right, guys, good night. Thanks for being with me.